Hey guys, we're going to talk to the owner of Jeff's Pirate Cove restaurant here in Guam. And Jeff is a unique individual. He has a little museum in the back of the restaurant with a lot of different artifacts, things he has found on the beach, things people have brought to him, World War II items, and also many other things. He has also been friends with a Japanese soldier who came out of the Guam jungle back in 1973 after hiding in the jungle for 28 years. Jeff also spent some time in Las Vegas. We'll talk to him about his time there and also talk a little bit about Guam and the politics here in Guam. Hey everybody, I'm here in Guam and I'm at Pirates Cove. And I'm here with the owner of Pirates Cove, Jeff. And for those of you, welcome back to the channel, and everybody who's new to the channel, my name is Mike, and this is Mike's Philippine Retirement, Life Abroad After 60. Hey Jeff, welcome to the channel.
Welcome, Mike. Pleasure to have you here.
Welcome to Guam. What a beautiful place you have here. Highly recommend people coming to Pirates Cove. And I'll leave down in the comments section, I'll pin the location and all the information you need for this. Jeff, let me ask you, how long have you been in Guam?
I came to Guam in 1962, so I've been here like 64 years. My dad dragged me here.
Your dad brought you here.
Yeah, he worked for the Navy.
Kicking and screaming?
Yeah, I didn't want to leave my hometown of Hingham, Mass, and all my cousins and friends and
East Coast boy.
Yes.
Yeah. So you come to Guam, and what is your history here? Have you stayed here and gone back to the U.S. or traveled around the Southeast Pacific?
I graduated from high school here. I went to Hawaii for a little while and stayed there. And I loved it. I met Duke Kahanamoku and Don Ho, and I had
all those old entertainers.
Yeah,
I remember Don Ho.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Really had a good time working at this bar called the Outrigger Canoe Club. And that's what kind of inspired me to get into the bar business and study hotel restaurant later in Florida. And I did 3 years down in Florida working in St. Pete Beach and got a degree in hotel restaurant there and decided that I could get a good job in Las Vegas.
I'm from Las Vegas.
Yeah. Well,
what's a good job in Las Vegas?
Well, at that time, I wanted to work in the bars or, be a waiter because I was still going to school and I wanted to finish. But the culinary union stopped me and told me that I had to be a bar back for a year. And I'd already done that in Hawaii, and I managed a bar in Florida before I left. And I just didn't want to do that. So I ended up going to 21 school and learning to deal 21 and craps. And I hated that because I had to polish my nails and dress up and wear a nice shirt and put up with pit bosses that were kind of crazy. So spent 3 years. I didn't like I said, the crap, so I started driving a taxi cab.
Cab driving.
Yes. And driving a taxi cab was the most amazing experience a man could go through, at least me.
I never drove. So
yeah, well, it was very busy. Yeah. Tons of stories. I picked up Ed Sullivan and Robert Goulet, Leslie Uggams, Fran Tarkington, a lot of celebrities. And I had a lot of incidences because I would take radio calls and go anywhere. So I had a lot of thrilling nights.
Good. Well, good. An exciting life. But you came back to Guam and...
Yeah, after driving the cab and, I was considering moving to Florida, but I missed Guam a lot. And I told my wife, I said, I want to go back to Guam and I want to live in Guam. And she was agreeable and came back here in 1973.
And 73, is that when you opened up Pirates Cove?
No.
Oh, no?
No. Oh. Pirates Cove was my watering hole.
Oh.
Even when I was in high school and I was surfing down the street, I would try to come here and get served and get kicked out.
Pirates Cove has a history prior to you.
Pirates Cove was called Pirates Cove since 1953. And I changed it in 79. But it was just a little, I think it was like, I describe it as a shanty Steinbeck type place on the beach, all termites. They said if the termites quit holding hands, the whole building would collapse. So there was a lot of interesting times when I first started. But I worked for the bank for 3 years. I wasn't making enough money at all. I was local hire. And driving a cab, I made like $4,000 a month. Bank of Hawaii paid me like $625 a month. And after a few years, there were only $920. I mean, it was peanuts. I couldn't live. So I got offered a job managing a restaurant in Sinahanya called the Crow's Nest. And I did that for a year. And then that went down. So I went to Saipan and helped operate a little gaming room and opened a restaurant over there for a guy named Earl Kloppenberg. And then I came back here and couldn't find employment. So I saw an ad for a radio salesman or something like sales for KATB radio. So I went there and applied for a job, and I got the job, and I tried to sell it. It's really hard to sell air. I don't know if you've ever tried it. Yeah. Especially air, yeah. But fortunately for me, we had this massive typhoon called Pamela. And Pamela wiped out Guam. It was like Karen. I was here for Karen in 62, but Pamela to me was like, that was 1976, the second big one. So after that typhoon, the radio station I worked for was the only media in business. And I went around to the relief centers and to get, like Red Cross vouchers for my family because we got wiped out. Our whole house was gone. Yeah. Even lost my weed, which was up in the ceiling. And you
lost your weed.
Yeah.
We'll get to the weed here a little bit later in the video, guys. You want to hear about the weed story?
No, I don't want to hear that. Anyway, so the house blew away, and I went up to the gymnasium where they were doing the Red Cross vouchers and all that. And I found out that you could only use this voucher at one place. So all these different stores on Guam wanted that business because some like Gibson's had just got their spring inventory in, right? And like for me, I got $700 for my family, in a voucher. So finding that out, I went out to all these places that had refused to advertise with me. And I said, now, look at this program. It was only $7.50 a spot, Mike. So cheap, right? Mm-hmm. I said, $75 a day, 10 spots. We'll just say, put Townhouse on your Red Cross voucher, put Gibson's or whatever. And they all went for it. And for 6 years, I was in business with those guys. And it was amazing. It was, I love the radio business, but they sold the station. I got fired. I had this place at that time.
You were already here.
In 79, I mean, the guy that owned it, my buddy Jimmy Cruz, died. And, I didn't really want the place. I liked it. I didn't want it to change. And, the owners, Shimizu family, which were good friends, they were like, asking me if I'm interested because they didn't want other interests to take it. And the lease was only 2 years, and the building was a decrepit mess.
Yeah, you said it was falling apart.
It was totally, waiting for the next typhoon.
I'm going to take you guys on a tour of the restaurant area at the end of the video and show you what he's built here. But now that you've been here a while, I've heard rumors about you have you run for governor?
Yes, I ran for governor in 1986 as an independent, trying to change this island into a honest government, away from the Magellan thing we're running right now. Yeah,
I don't know Magellan. I know the corruption.
Senator twice. I didn't win.
Island of Thieves.
Well, I think that Island of Thieves had many different reasonings behind it, and I don't think that in those days the people that lived here thought they were thieves by going and taking things because the Spanish came here and took all their stuff, right? I mean, and they said they stole a sailboat. But I think that the Spanish were pretty aggressive. Remember the Incas and the Mayans and the Aztecs?
Yes,
they thought the Spanish were pretty intense, right?
They were, even in the U.S., southern part of the U.S., back like Texas and Southern California. Back in the day, was it the 1800s?
Yeah.
But here on the islands, So we'll get away from the politic end of it, but has the business developed the way you wanted it to develop? Is it growing what you want?
Well, I mean, Guam is in the middle of nowhere, and we're subject to many different things that can affect business. You know, typhoons are one. The yen could change, and that could affect us. And of course, the biggest change is COVID right now, which has really paralyzed my business
All the
Not-
travel.
for
Tourism.
5 years. And then we just had a typhoon a little over a year ago that it's further slowed me down, but we're still moving ahead. You know, I mean, I am a very perpetuated person. I just wait for things to get better, and they always do. I got good karma.
You have good time. You have a positive outlook. You're hoping for hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Is that a
Well,
type
I
of
don't
thing?
even think about the worst.
Oh,
I mean, I
okay.
can deal with it once it happens. I mean, I don't.
You don't go looking for it.
No, I don't even worry about anything till it happens. I don't even think anything's going to happen till it happens. That's easier.
Yeah, it is. Now, being you're right here on the beach, have you found any interesting items on your beach walks, or have people brought you things of interest?
I got these very valuable Japanese glass floats that I have found. People also give them to me. I've found beautiful spear guns that people lost up there because that channel is very dangerous and things can get out of hand. And you find that. I found boats, messages in the bottle. You know, after that huge, what was a Japanese earthquake over there, and they had the tidal wave, Fukushima. I was waiting for all those Japanese treasure chests that got blown out of the houses to come in that channel, you know, because this channel pulls in everything, right?
But you have this museum that's behind us, and you house most of those items that you find there.
Right. I was collecting so many things, and people were giving me so much that I took this room and I just converted it into an air-conditioned museum. It's not like official, nationally recognized, because that would take huge inventory, meticulation, and insurance and security. But I've got some very valuable items in there. The ship's wheel from the USS Oregon, which I think is quite valuable for people to come and see and know about. And a lot of Yokoi, you know. Yokoi was
That's what I want
a
to talk to you
story in
about.
himself, you know.
That you have a personal connection.
Yeah, Yokoi came here 3 times and he visited me. And at one time I was going to make a T-shirt with his picture, so we had correspondence. And yeah, I really, I thought it was very cool.
Can you tell the viewers who he is and what makes him unique?
So Yokoi was a Japanese soldier brought here, drafted after previously being drafted and fighting in Manchuria, went back home to his mom thinking he was okay there, and he got drafted to come to Guam. And he came to Guam, and he was basically stationed up at the Naval Magazine area, and that's where he was when they did all the shelling of Guam. And, you know, like 300 ships blew this place away day and night for like 30 days and 30 nights. And Yokoi and his friends kind of fell back into the jungle and ran away. And they lived in this big cave up in Babulau, which is the Naval Magazine area. And they were getting caught, and the Chamorros and the military, they were flame-throwing caves, and they wanted to kill every Japanese they saw. So Yokoi ended up moving to an area with 9 other guys called Babulau. And he stayed up there undetected, making his own shoes and his own shrimp traps, and he made 4 sets of clothing. And he was a tailor, civilian life, so he had a lot of talent as far as making things. But he was captured. He didn't give up. He was captured in 1972 by Manuel de Gracia and Jesus Duenas, 2 farmers, 2 hunters. And he was pulled back into the village, and nobody knew what to do with this guy. I mean, he's like
The war's
very
been, how long has the war been over when he got finally captured? Maybe about 20 plus years?
well. The war was over in '45, so this is 1972. So 28 years.
28
right?
years hiding in the jungle or of Guam. Amazing story.
Yeah, very unbelievable. But the guy was very cool. I mean, he was almost like a diplomat. Once he got his feet on the ground and the press came to interview him and, all this, he was very, he was vivid. He was cool and he liked it. But, they didn't know what to do with him. 10 years
send him
he
back.
sat up. Well,
Huh?
he was a deserter. Okay. He had run away from his action. He's supposed to commit Harry Canary or something, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't do that, right? And I have a picture of him on the wall in there. I had a Japanese older guy come in and spit on his picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so why do you do that? He said, well, I was with Yokoi in Talafofo village. I got shot in my butt. Yokoi left me and ran away. So he had baggage. He had baggage.
Yeah, but it's
But
war,
he had been, well, of course.
Yeah,
And he had been gone 28 years. He's like the world's oldest caveman, longest staying caveman. So he had notoriety, right? So they had a parade. They gave him his back pay. He came out all right.
Came out all right. I'll show some pictures of him, but you have tons of photographs
I do.
in the museum. If you're here in Guam, come down to the Pirates Cove, not just for the food and the drink, but the history and the location that it's at. And it's a great place to come visit. You also do a podcast.
Yes, every Sunday morning on my Facebook, I do a podcast where we discuss Guam and what it's all about to live here and the politics of what's been happening here to keep this place stagnant and keep us into the worst utilities and most expensive utilities, and everything that our government does is a problem. The hospital, the prison, you name it.
So if someone's interested in calling Guam home or coming for a long visit, the podcast is an interesting place to go to find out some of the local things that are going on. Get past the tourist issues and the tourist, come. I love Guam. And see the
I
real
just
Guam.
had a military mom back in the States whose son just got stationed over here. Told me she was so happy to find my podcast because she found out more information about Guam and the military. And, I'm trying to get everybody to register to vote on Guam, including the military. The military can vote here, but a lot of them want to keep their residency in the States for the benefits, right?
Yeah, mail-in ballots.
But, well, if you're registered in Texas, you probably get some benefits, or Alaska, for being there, right?
Yeah.
So if you register on Guam, you might lose that. But I would like to see the military have dual residency while they're stationed here, because they're living on the outside too. They're suffering our poor water and power and government, roads, you name it. They're all part of it. And it's taxation that government takes the military's taxes. Did you know that?
No, I have no idea.
They do.
Tax.
They are stationed here permanently or whatever. The government, just like all my employees, gets the withholding tax. Huge money, Mike. Huge
The
money.
government of Guam.
Government of Guam gets granted that money. No, every state would love to have that.
Yes.
Right?
Keep it all.
So government of Guam gets this. It's like 10%, of somebody's wages. It's huge money. And then on top of that, they have a privilege of doing business tax, which is kind of a bad name because doing business here is not a privilege. No, it's hardcore.
It's hardcore business.
It's hard to survive here. It's hard to deal with all the regulations and, whatever else happens on Guam. It causes you to have a tough time with a business. And you know, the restaurants are hardest of all.
Restaurants, tough business anywhere.
It is.
And here, this is not in the tourist bubble. Where is that? Tuma? Is that-
Right.
That's where I stay. That's a tourist bubble. Got all the fancy restaurants and nice hotels. This is quite a ways out, and you're going to feel the real resources of the island. You're here. How large is your area here that you have control of?
I lease 20 acres here.
20 acres.
And I've been cleaning it up. This was the Camp Etheridge Rehab Center for pilots and aircraft carrier personnel right after and they had a huge saltwater swimming pool and Quonset huts lodging for 450 men. And over the 2 or 3 years, like 10,000 stayed here. And then a big typhoon hit here in 1947, I think. And by that time, all the military are pretty well finished deploying from, you know, after the war, a lot of these guys weren't good yet. So they opened up camps along this side of the island. Further down the street was Camp D. These were all submarines. And they built Quonset huts and they put them there. Then they needed a place for the aircraft carrier personnel. And they didn't like it any place over in a roadie because there was an asphalt factory and it wasn't comfortable. So they started building this modeled after Camp David. So they put in all these Quonset huts, and if you flew 50 missions, you had to stay 2 weeks on the ground. So they had this like an extension of the Navy hospital. They had Quonset, 7 big Quonset huts, full dispensary, swimming pool, beer, whatever, you know, everything. They fattened those guys up here before they went home.
Got them feeling good. All right. Well, guys, like I said, I'm going to put a link down below to the address here, where it's located, your Facebook, your YouTube channel. You have a small YouTube channel also, and the podcast. And if you're in Guam, come visit Guam. It's a lot nicer than I thought it was when I first got here. And we'll talk about that more later. Again, thanks again, Jeff, for taking your time. And guys, thanks for being here on Mike's Philippine Retirement, Life Abroad After 60. Until next time.
Adios.